Okay, so we're about to dive into this really powerful parable. It's a story about a monk, this sacred tree, and, well, a single explosive moment that just changes everything.
So, right at the heart of this whole thing is a bolt of lightning. It comes out of what looks like an empty sky. And this is the big question, right? Was this some kind of miracle from a distant god, or was it something else? Something from within? An act of pure human will?
Let's meet our main character. His name is Boniface. He's a monk, and he's been carrying the weight of an old faith for a very, very long time.
And then there's this, the sacred oak. This isn't just a tree. For the people Boniface is about to meet, this oak is, well, it's everything. It's a symbol of their values, but it's also a crutch for all their fears.
And finally, you have the lightning itself. This is the catalyst, the spark that's about to just shatter an entire worldview.
All right, Section 1, the burden of the camel. Now, to really get what's happening with Boniface, we have to understand the world he's coming from, this world of old values that he's been carrying on his back.
So, what is the camel? It's this really powerful metaphor. Think of it as a spirit that just kneels down. It willingly accepts this heavy, heavy load of tradition, all the old commandments, the duties, the weight of how things have always been done.
And this is the world Boniface walks right into. The text says it perfectly. He found them worshiping a great oak, a wooden crutch for their fear of the sky. So their whole faith, it wasn't built on strength at all. It was built on fear, on trembling before this imaginary thunder god they thought lived up in an empty sky.
Okay, on to Section 2, the will of the lion. Boniface is he's tired of all this weakness, this burden, and he is right on the edge of a massive internal transformation.
And this, right here, is the turning point. It's absolutely crucial. He's standing there in front of the oak, axe in hand, and the story makes a big deal of this. He does not pray. He isn't looking up to the sky asking for a sign. No, he looks inward, and he sees a reflection of his own creative will.
This just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? The camel, that's the meek spirit, the one that kneels, carries the burden, and just follows the rules. But the lion? Oh, the lion is a ferocious will that stands up, says no more to the old burdens, and literally creates its own freedom. It's a total shift from just obeying to actually creating.
And this is the roar of that lion. It's all captured in just 2 words, I will. You hear that? That's not a question. It's not a request. It's a declaration. This is the exact moment Boniface throws off that old, passive way of life and just claims his own power to act.
All right, Section 3, the people's miracle. We're at the climax of the story now, and this is where an incredible act of will gets completely misunderstood.
So check this out. It all happens in 4 quick, dramatic steps. 1, Boniface swings his axe. 2, a massive bolt of lightning just tears out of the sky and hits the oak. 3, the tree is instantly split into 4 perfect pieces. And 4, just like that, the very foundation of their ancient fear is completely shattered. I mean, it's an unbelievable moment, right? But here's the twist, and it's a big one. The people watching, they completely miss the point. They see it as a sign from Boniface's God, some external power doing the work. They have no idea about the internal revolution that just happened inside Boniface himself.
So you see, the people didn't actually overcome anything. They just traded one fear for another. They swapped their old angry sky god for what they thought was a new, better one. But that core relationship, that feeling of submission, it stayed exactly the same.
So that brings us to our final section, becoming the thunder. If it wasn't a miracle from some god, then what in the world really happened? This is where the story gives us its deepest insight, and it comes through the eyes of Zarathustra.
And this chart just nails the difference, doesn't it? On one hand, you have the people's view. The source of power is some external god, and the meaning is just divine intervention. But then you have Zarathustra's view. For him, the power came from Boniface's own internal will. The real meaning was self-creation, becoming what he calls the Übermensch, an overcomer, someone who breaks past old limits.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. Zarathustra says, "The heavens did not send the fire came from within him." Think about that. The lightning wasn't a message sent to Boniface, it was a projection from him. It was the outward sign of his own will finally set free. So, let's break down the key takeaways here. The lightning,
It was a manifestation of will, not some gift from on high. The real miracle was the act of self-creation. In that single moment, Boniface stopped being a follower and became a creator. He became that overcomer, forging new values by smashing the old ones.
And that brings us to this incredible, powerful, final line from the parable. He had killed the god of thunder by becoming the thunder himself. Wow. So he didn't just beat the old fear. He literally became a new kind of power, a creative storm that was born from his own will.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? This whole story, it's a parable about overcoming old ideas, old values that we just inherit, values that are maybe based on fear or submission. So the question for you, for all of us, is what's the sacred oak in your world?